Well, with 1 week remaining in the game, we start with the first eviction of 2. Hey guys, it's Hammer for this week of Big Brother 8 episodes 38 through 39, and it does definitely feel weird to obviously review this on a Tuesday because usually it's Thursday, but it's that time again. It's that time where we are getting very close to the end. In fact, the finale happens 1 week from tomorrow. How crazy is that? But yeah, it happens 1 week from tomorrow. But because of that, we have 2 evictions this week instead of 1. And I have to say that this really was not the most eventful week. There's only 2 episodes to talk about. Not a ton happened in both of those episodes. Just not really a ton happening in Big Brother in general. But let's just get into this week because really, like I said, there's only 2 things to talk about. 2 episodes to talk about, and not a ton happened in either of them. But let's just get right into it. So we start off, obviously, where the last HOH comp left off, and it's a very interesting HOH comp, slip and slide one. I thought it was interesting the way this was done, but I loved Victor's butter puns. I thought those actually were funny, as opposed to Nicole's squirrel puns, which were just so unfunny and so ridiculous and just so innocent and they're just so Nicole, really, that's what they were. And Corey does end up winning for some reason. I don't know why he won HOH, but he goes for the HOH, and okay, I'll give it to him for this. At least he actually tried, because most of this season, Corey's been like, well, I don't know if I want to do that. I'm gonna go for the, the POV. I'm not gonna get the veto. I don't want to put a target on my back. I don't know about that. I want to go for the, I want to go for the have-not. Like, he always goes for the thing that, gets him to work less. And you can tell that this season, Corey is not really wanting to play the game. But this week, he does, in fact, have to play the game. And I will say that I do think that he did a good job in figuring out who to target. I'm not saying he's a good HOH, though, because Corey was a pretty horrible HOH. He really was. I really was not a fan of him as HOH here. Basically, he decides that, Nicole and him have been talking, and they realize that if they want to have a shot at Final 2, that it needs to be time to get rid of a bigger target. And James cannot be that bigger target. James is someone who Nicole does want to ally with. Now, is it because of that rumor going on, Nicole and James working together? I don't know. But either way, she feels that James should be the better person to work with, and Corey agrees with that. Victor and Paul, on the other hand, feel that they're 100% safe, and I don't know why. I honestly have no idea why they think this, because taking out James, yes, it would make sense to an extent, but you should never feel too comfortable, and I think that's really the problem with Victor and Paul, is that they were just way too trustworthy, and I don't really understand why. Yes, they had the Final Four, but they had to think, that maybe this Final Four was gonna take out someone. It just kind of would have made sense to do that. We've seen many alliances done that. Even in, the worst scenes of Big Brother 15, I can remember the Exterminators took out one of their own before they took out someone else. So, basically, they're realizing they need to take a shot at Paul and Victor. But like I said, they feel that they're safe. They feel that James is going to be the one taken out. I did like seeing James deal with losing Natalie and everything, but again, they really made James look really creepy in this edit, I have to say. Him just going to Natalie, him telling her, what's going on, her just telling him, I would not throw you under the bus, stop saying it. I'm tired of this whole conversation. It's so stupid. I don't know why James is so convinced about it, and apparently he holds, some grudge against her on the feeds. I don't really know. I've heard James talking about, Corey had a conversation with James about moving on. It's really dumb. It really is. It seemed like James actually genuinely cared about Natalie, but now it's seeming like he wants nothing to do with her. Whatever. I thought that was definitely interesting. But I did think James handled himself right. I will definitely say that. He did a good job with laying low. He did a good job of not making himself a target. At this point, there isn't really much you can do to make yourself a target. If you're just there, then you're not really making yourself a target. You're just, everyone's kind of there for the same reason at this point. They all want to get to that Final 2, and they're doing whatever they can to do that. So, Nicole and Corey decided to work with James. I don't think this is going to last long. I'll say that right off the bat. I really don't think this is going to last long at all. But they agree the best thing to do is to take a shot at Victor and Paul, and that's exactly what Corey decides. But let's talk about the elephant in the room. What the fuck was that scene with the memory wall? Such a weird scene. Corey wakes up in like the morning and he goes to the memory wall. Everyone's talking to him. I thought Corey was like high on some drugs or something, because that is something you see when you're on like acid. That is not something you see when you're normal. However, if you're Corey and you're stupid, then okay, I get it. But I don't know. Very strange, very weird the way that was done. You can really tell that they were really just trying to drag out the episode because there wasn't much to talk about. And long story short, really not a long story at all. Corey does end up putting up Paul and Victor, and Paul and Victor obviously are understandably pissed. You know, they felt that they had their safety. They felt that Corey was going to save them, and they felt that they were completely okay, and that they really wouldn't have to worry about this. Now, I don't really know why they felt so safe, because again, when they were close to them, they had to just kind of have that mentality. I don't know why they didn't, but for some reason they feel they felt that they were safe, and that ultimately is what got them staying on the block. So Victor is really freaking out here, but that is how we end this Sunday episode. Now let's get into tonight's episode, which, this is the usual live, but not really live episode, where they turn the feeds off for like a couple days, and now they're back. I believe they're coming back on in like a couple hours, but anyway, what a weird episode this was. I mean, just the fact that we started right away with Julie telling all of them that this was going to be, a special eviction. Why are they so surprised at this point? I don't really understand that. It happens every fucking season. It's something that I think everyone should be prepared for. It literally says expect the unexpected. And also that it just shouldn't really be a surprise to them anymore. I don't really know why they're so surprised about this, because it's just something that happens every season. I definitely wouldn't. If I was in the house, I'd be like, alright, I could see that coming. We're down to 5. I understand that. But just a really weird way to start things off. The fact we didn't even have an intro in this episode was very weird. But either way, I really think Victor ruined his game in this episode. I really like Victor up to this point, but I think Victor tried way too hard to campaign. When there's a final 5, it's really not easy to campaign. All you really have to do is say you have a final 2 with someone and maybe take them to a final 2, but there's just really not much you can do in this situation, especially when you're getting evicted that day and you don't have a week to convince someone why you shouldn't get evicted. It's kind of harder to do, and at first it seems like they want to get rid of Paul, and here's the thing about Nicole and Corey that I can't stand, is even though you could tell they want to take out Paul or Victor, they kept changing their target throughout the episode, and Nicole said the same exact thing for Victor and Paul. Oh, we keep him around, he's gonna be a bigger threat, holy crap, we can't keep him around, oh my god, Paul's gonna be a big threat, we can't keep him around, oh my god, like they didn't give any different reasons why they should take them out, and that really pissed me off. They act like they're same exact person when really they're not. Paul usually does not handle this very well, but I think Paul is just kind of used to it by now, and I think he kind of knew that he was a pawn, so he's trying to lay low. Victor ends up going off on them. He's really pissed at them. He thought that he was on their side. I don't blame him necessarily, but at the same time, I really do think when him trying to cover his own ass, this really was not the right thing to do, to completely just blow up in their faces. I don't really know why obviously I understand why he got pissed at them, but I don't really know why he felt this was the best way to go. It really was not to get in their faces and get all pissed at them and everything. And, they're trying to calm him down, and you can tell that Victor, like I said, he's really making himself a target at this point. I also forgot to say that we found that Victor has had, like, a mini crush on Nicole this entire season. There's been a rumor since, I believe, the feeds ever came on that Victor asked Nicole out on a date when he was with Natalie for, like, a week when the feeds weren't on. Victor and Natalie were sort of a thing. Obviously, they're not anymore, but Victor and Nicole are starting to become a thing. I don't really know what this is, if Victor has a shot at Nicole. It's certainly better than Corey. I'd much rather take Victor over Nicole. I'd take anyone over Corey, honestly. I just don't see it. What is so fascinating about Corey? What is so amazing about Corey? Yes, Nicole, he may be good in bed, but what else is good about him? Like, I just don't see it. I'm sorry, I don't. And if you guys do, great, but I don't really think anyone does, because there's nothing really there, honestly. Nothing there. If he was a cool guy, and maybe he was a little bit more sociable and not so stupid, then maybe I'd actually like him, but he's an idiot. He really is. He's just I honestly, I don't really know how to categorize Corey at this point. I've said enough about him. I don't really know what else to say. But either way, we see that we go to the POV, which, very weird, the POV was the comic book one. It always seems like they do this when there's like 7 people in the house. Why they waited this long to do it, I don't really know. But ultimately, Nicole does end up winning the POV. I don't know if it was rigged or whatever, but Nicole ends up winning it. Obviously, does not use the power of veto. She doesn't take either of them down. And at this point, I really didn't know what they were going to do. I did not know if they were going to go to Paul or were they going to go to Victor, because it just felt like there really could be any option here. Really, it didn't really... I didn't have a clear idea of what they really wanted to do here, so I couldn't really tell. I did like seeing Derek again. I thought that was kind of cool to see him weigh in on the season. Not really necessary, I will say that. I don't really think we needed to see Derek, but, either way, it's always fun to see his opinions. I don't really know why he feels Nicole has played a great game. Now, here's the thing I will say. In Nicole's defense, she has done a lot more than Corey. She's definitely been, I think, the mastermind in all this, and Corey's kind of been just like the hype man, the one that's always by her. Nicole, I feel, has actually done some things, and she has been behind some evictions. Do I like the way she's played? No, but I will give credit where credit is due, and I will definitely say that when Nicole wanted something done, she got it done. She didn't hold back, and she definitely is starting to make some really big moves to take her to the final 2. So could Nicole end up winning the season? I honestly could see it. I really could. And I think if Nicole keeps playing the way she is, then she might actually deserve it. And again, haven't really loved the way she's played the game. Starting to dislike her less. Mainly just her voice is really annoying, I will say that. But I'm definitely starting to dislike her gameplay a little bit less just because of the lack of it in the house. There really isn't a lot of it. And at least she's actually playing. James at this point is really not doing much of anything. She's actually playing the game. And again, I'm going to give her credit for that because, she's actually doing stuff, and she might actually be able to prove to me that she might actually deserve to be in this final 2. But anyway, we get to the eviction, and once again, Victor is evicted, and I really think this was a mistake, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why in a second, but Victor is evicted for the 3rd time. They don't really have much to talk about him and Julie, but sad to see Victor go. I thought he was so close to that 50K. I would have easily voted for him, and if he would have still been in that house, I would have easily said that Victor would have won, but I do understand why Nicole took him out, but I really think she's going to regret it, because then we get to the HOH, which finally we get to see an HOH comp actually play out live and not have to wait another episode, which has been so annoying. I thought the quiz thing was dead, but the quiz is back, and basically it's the what the bleep one, which I always love that competition. I only think it's a lot of fun to see, especially when we saw the Zakiya and Paulie ones, because we knew what they were talking about. It sounded like they said fuck, and it didn't. I mean, I just think it's always fun to see that. But either way, Paul ends up winning the HOH, which I was actually very happy about because I really did not want Nicole or James to win, and Paul ends up winning, and I really think this is going to bite Nicole in the ass now, because this was not the time to take out Victor. And yeah, Victor probably would have won either way, but Victor is someone that I think was a lot closer to Nicole and Corey. He was someone that actually I think would trust them. If they were to keep him around, I think he would have probably gone right back to them. I mean, yeah, he probably would have gotten one of them out, but if he hadn't have won HOH, I think he definitely would have stayed close to them, and I think he probably would have convinced them to get James out, because he's someone that generally did stick by them. Paul, on the other hand, I feel is a little bit more confrontational, and he definitely is someone that doesn't he takes this stuff to heart a little bit less, and I think he definitely is going to get some blood in his hands. I think he's probably going to take out Corey or Nicole. Definitely one of them is going to go. We'll have to see what happens, but that's really all there is to talk about. Because, really, that's it. Like I said, we're down to Final 5. Not really much to talk about right now. Not really much going on. Victor was evicted. Paul won HOH. And we'll have to see what happens, tomorrow night. It is cool to see someone win HOH that's not Corey or Nicole. I do like seeing that because it's been very back and forth between, it's been very Corey, Nicole, Victor, it's always been very centric for them, so I'm looking forward to seeing a week where those two are actually not in power, because I feel like they are not going to influence Paul. They can't. One of them has to go up anyway, so they really can't influence Paul into doing this, so I'm looking forward to seeing really what he's going to do. Again, I don't know where his head's at, obviously, because I haven't seen the feed, so I can't really say, okay, this is what I think Paul's going to do. I have no idea what he's going to do. I think he's definitely going after Corey or Nicole, but Paul is now guaranteed final 3, so Paul still might have a chance of winning this thing. I don't really know. We'll have to see. But either way, guys, that's all I have to say. I don't have much to say at this point. Like I said, we're really dwindling down. I think as the weeks go on, there's less and less to say. We have 2 episodes left for me to review Big Brother, which is crazy. I can't believe that. But tomorrow is the final eviction episode, and then we go right into the finale. There is that ridiculous clip show or whatever on Sunday where they're like, remember this, remember that. That's going to be annoying to watch. But either way, going to be interesting to see what happens tomorrow. I honestly am kind of lost where things are happening. I like that. I like this unpredictable because I don't really know what Paul's going to do. Maybe he'll take on Nicole, maybe he'll take Corey, or maybe he'll surprise both of them and take out James. I don't really know what he's going to do. We'll have to see. But either way, guys, in my review, hope you guys enjoyed it. Most guys thought of this episode overall. What you think of this week? And I will see you guys in my next video, which will be for, I don't know, honestly. I don't know my next video is going to be. I think it's going to be for a movie review. But either way, I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.